coming up to Seattle here as Dragicevic has the puck onto the late call. Now for Gregoire with a drive. He rifled that one wide. And Beaulieu will play the loose puck, and we've got some shoving in front of the goal now as Jaques and Dumas will square off. Actually, that's Gary Grant, and Grant just landed a heavy right hand. And now we've got everybody into the corner here as Grant is on top of, I believe, Steve Jaques. Jaques just never wanted to square off as Grant took his helmet off, dropped the gloves, and threw a punch. And Jaques just took it, and then one of the Bruin players, I believe it was Scott Rawson, came in, Carlos, and boy, all of a sudden, all heck is broken loose here.
I'll tell you, everybody's paired off. Well, not necessarily paired off. There's a pile of about 3 Thunderbirds with a couple Bruin players, and then 2 Bruin players, and Pilon is there. Everybody is involved with it. They just all came together, and there's going to be a third man in situation here, I believe, Robert, if I'm not mistaken, because Grant and Jaques were going at it, and then a Thunderbird. I think it might have been Marco Fuster, but I'm not sure. I'm not even sure he's on the ice right now, but a Thunderbird player came out of nowhere as the third man.
Now we've got a 2-on-1. The Bruins are hammering Robert Dumas down there right now.
Something's got to give here. The linesman or the referee is going to have to get in there, and you're right, Robert Dumas being handled there by 2 Bruin players. Now Jaques getting back into it. This is becoming very dangerous. Now they got a cartwheel going between, look at this. How do you describe that, Bob? I mean, all you can say is that the Bruins are all over the Thunderbirds right now. The linesman, Gary Grant. Now Petres is in it, Bob. Chris Petres, the goaltender. He could not stand by any longer and watch.
This is ridiculous, Carlos. The linesman has got Grant all wrapped up here, and there's only one linesman left to try and separate this ridiculous situation here. And I guess it's kind of a tough situation for the linesman because how do you let Gary Grant go? I can understand that, but nonetheless, the referee, Buchanan, ought to step in and try and break some things up here. I think that's the normal
procedure. I think you're right, Bob, and that's what I was saying as well, is that you can't have one linesman trying to deal with 10 players out there. And Petres, to his credit, decided, hey, I can't see my teammates getting ganged up here, and he grabbed a hold of Kalvin Knibbs. Didn't throw any punches or anything, but I believe he'll get a penalty for leaving the crease, if not more. It'll be interesting to see how they sort out the penalties on this situation. Beaulieu and number 22 for New West, who I don't have on my list. I don't know if you've got him on yours there, Bob. It's, that's Dragicevic, the newcomer. He and Beaulieu were looking like they were going to go at it, but now cooler heads seem to have prevailed there. Gloves and sticks all over the ice.
Well, Dragicevic and Beaulieu still, and now they're going to go as the 2 of them start throwing punches here. Dragicevic throwing rights, but none of them landing as he's just throwing a lot of body punches. Now coming over with some right hands as the 2 of them wrestle into the boards. Well, this is the last thing we needed here in the first period is good-sized crowd on hand, and I'm sure a good portion of them are not here to see this, Carlos. And now Fuster getting into it, trying to get Dragicevic off of Beaulieu. Pilon all down there right now with one of the Bruin players. It looks like Steve Rennie, and it is Steve Rennie. The 2 of them ready to go.
They're bringing Fuster over to the penalty box, and if that's the case there, Marco's very lucky because he was the 3rd man in, clearly, at least from my observation, which would result in an ejection from the game. And now Rennie and Pilon still dancing, Dragicevic and Beaulieu still going at it. Oh, now Dragicevic throwing some wild punches, Bob, as the linesmen come in and trying to separate, and it's kind of degraded here into not what you like to see as part of a regular hockey game.
Well, while they sort this out, we'll take a timeout. We've got 11:39 to go in the opening period. There's no score. It's from the arena. You're listening to Seattle Thunderbirds hockey.
Check out the savings on True Timber. Just between up at BJ's Plumbing and Garden Center, 9409 Del Ridgeway Southwest in White Center.
Back here once again at the Seattle Center Arena as while we're away, Neil Pilon on just hammering Rennie, which drew quite a bit of a reaction from the crowd here.